coaches are highly responsible for that.
See, the coaches should do what is right to produce business outcomes. It is not what is right to the leader. Many leaders think that they're sponsoring and their job is done.
If these two groups focus on bringing results, every transformation will be successful. So Satya, we spoke about the problem side of it, right? What are the challenges with Agile Transformation? The business, not focusing on business results, not focusing on cultural agility, which is a long term, right? Not focusing on a systemic thinking. Right? These are the problems that we have. On the other side, there is also the overall industry slowdown, right? There are wars happening in one side, there is a AI disruption happening on the other side. Overall industry is down. It's not just only for Agile, it's for the entire industry, right? And economies itself, right? So now let's talk about the areas that are in our control, that we can still make a difference. And we spoke about it, that there is no, Agile is still the best way to build a product, right?
Correct.
Agile is the best way.
Right.
And we are not going to go away from that for at least for the next couple of years, at least next maybe a decade or so, right? And let's talk about what are the things that we can do, right, which is in our control, so that this transformation can be very successful, right? Can you throw some lights on this?
Certainly. So, what is in our control? Definitely the thing which you talk about is not in our control. The technology changes are happening. There's a lot of uncertainties in the global market space and stuff like that. But what is that we can do in this situation? Probably two areas to focus. One is the people who are responsible to implement the change, responsible to transform the organization. They may be from external consultant, or they may be part of the organization.
So you're talking about the Agile Coaches.
The Agile Coaches, the change agents who are responsible for implementing this change. So I think they have a lot more responsibility at this point in time to make difference. Now, when we have limited budget, when we have a lot of technology changes which are taking place where we need to be flexible enough to adopt to it, at the same time, the existing business commitment has to be honored with. So in such situation, I think we may have to relook at the goals of the transformation and what kind of adjustment we may have to make. Number one. Number two is whatever the journey is done, part of the Agile implementation. What are the learnings from it? So now, with this journey, are we able to make some difference? And especially when I say difference in terms of business outcome. So you might have made some difference in terms of way of working, discipline, and all that. But is it translated into value? Is it translated into business outcome? I think this is one definite area. The people who are responsible to transform should look at it, because no organization will have appetite to keep spending money on the transformation if they don't look at the results which are coming out of it. We all know that it's a journey. It is not that I start and I end the transformation. It's a journey, we know that. But at regular intervals, we should also produce some substantial outcome. Otherwise, how do we know that we are going in the right direction, and how organization can reserve again the budget for the upcoming year? So this is one thing. And
just to add that, Satya.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Just rephrasing what you said, I think we worked together in the previous companies. Enter with an exit in mind as a coach. It is very important, right? We have exited. In fact, there are assignments where we exited when the leader wanted us to stay there. It's important that we always keep that exit in mind as coach, that I'm not going to stay with this team for years, right? I'm here to make an impact, right? Business impact. And I have very short time. And I have to make an impact in the next 2 quarters, 3 quarters, and bring business results in terms of predictability, quality, release time to market, customer satisfaction index going up, business going up, revenue has gone up, right? All of these. And transformation should be around that, right? And the coaches are highly responsible for that, right? Many times I see coaches, my job is to train and just coach, and I don't have, my skin is not in the game. My job is, I said whatever I've said, it's up to you, right? Do we have ownership? I think that's what we're talking now, that
Absolutely.
coaches
Absolutely.
should have ownership fully on a transformation.
Absolutely. They own the transformation, they should drive, they should produce business outcome. And just to add to the exit date in mind, and certainly, we need to go build the capability, whatever is not there in the organization. And most importantly, before we exit, build that capability and competency within the system, so that even after our exit, the transformation is, continued. Right? This is one aspect. The second, area which what we can do is also, is organization doing enough, right? So who is organization? Organization is everyone within the ecosystem. But let me focus only from a leadership point of view, because they are responsible for driving transformation along with the change agent. Many leaders think that they're sponsoring and their job is done. Somebody, external consultant, we have hired them, they will come and transform. It's not going to work, because part of transformation, we have to make a lot of critical roles, critical decisions, repositioning some of the critical roles, repurposing them, and probably sometimes you may have to readjust and redesign the organization. There are plenty of those. So organization leaders have to play a very, very important role. So if an organization is not producing the business outcome even after implementing Agile for a very long time, probably I want to give this credit of not producing the business outcome to both the coaches or the change agents who are responsible to transform, and the leadership of those business lines or business units. Ultimately they are responsible to produce the business outcome. So these are the two areas I think we should do something different.
Absolutely. I think very well said, Satya. I think this is great. I think, if these two groups focus on bringing results, every transformation will be successful, right? Definitely, for sure. Right. Within the same organization, we have seen a transformation being very successful. Another transformation is very challenged, right? In terms of achieving the cultural agility, business agility, and so on. And it's predominantly because of these two people and these two roles. And if these two roles set well, surely the transformation will become successful.
Right? Absolutely. See, the coaches should do what is right to produce business outcomes.
Absolutely.
It is not what is right to the leader.
Correct.
Or it is not what right to
themselves.
But what is right to produce the business outcome.
Yeah.
And part of this, they may have to do a lot of tough conversation if need be. Right? So, I see, many coaches, I call them as 9 to 6 coaches, because their personality wise, their lifestyle, the way they think is purely, anti-agile, or none of those agile attributes they demonstrate in their life. But they come and they start teaching whatever is there in the book. That's not going to help. I think we also have to reflect ourselves to see what gaps are there, how we polish our gaps, and what is that meaningful contribution we can do. If required, have some tough conversation with the stakeholders, leaders. We always think that they may know everything. May not be, right? In the organization, knowing everything is not possible for anybody.
Absolutely.
So we need to educate them, probably have tough conversation, engage them in the right direction. So whatever the effort we are putting in place, the effort, when I say not just the time, it could be the resources, the money, and stuff like that. It should be channelized in the right direction, and the single goal is producing outcome.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Satya.
Pleasure.